Okay. So database is very important part when it comes to real time, as I mentioned. Why it is very important is so far we have been learning Python, and we are covering Python, all the topics of Python. And when we are working with Python, we are dealing with some data, and we are that data we have been storing into variables, and we have been storing into files, and we are simply iterating the data and just finding some output from the data. That is what we have been doing, right? But when we say, or when we deal with the data, so data will not be stored, or will not be stored temporarily in any kind of a files, or will not be stored in any kind of a variables in a Python program when it comes to real time. How it will happen is the data will be stored permanently in a particular location. So that location we call it as a database. So that can be any database. It can be, there are two major types of databases. One is SQL databases, and one more is NoSQL databases. I'll discuss about that. But so why? I hope you understood the importance of why do we need to go for the database. We need to store the data permanently. If you take any kind of database, if you take any kind of application, storing the data or maintaining the data is a very crucial part, or very important part. Using our Python program, we simply read the data and perform some operations and simply send the output. But that's not enough, right? But we need the data to do all kind of Python program. If you remember me saying that in the initial classes, what does the Python program do, or what does any programming language do? What does it do? In a simple terms, I said it will simply do the data processing. It will take some data, and it will add some logic on top of the data, and it will modify some data, and it will return the data. So end of the day, in a single term, if I have to talk about it, it will generate the data. Sorry, it will just deal with the data, and it will process the data, and it will send it. But where does the data comes from is the database. So we need the database to store our data. If you take Amazon, or if you take a Flipkart, or if you take any kind of Facebook, or any kind of social website, or any website which is there in the internet today, data is important, because when you log into your your Facebook, or when you log into your Amazon account, we are supposed to give a username and password, right? So why are we giving the username and password? And if you give the username and password, it is log into your account, and it is showing your information. Why it is showing your information? Because in certain time, in a particular time in the past, you might have registered, you might have created an account, on behalf of your name. You might have created an account in Amazon or Flipkart, and that information at the time of creating an account, it might have been stored into the database. And whenever you're coming back after 1 year or 2 years, and if you're again coming to Facebook and just clicking and entering your username and password, and it is still showing your information, because your data is permanently stored in a Facebook database. And for that matter, if your data is permanently stored in an Amazon database. And I have been using Amazon account for a very long time, for a couple of years, like 4 or 5 years. And in the recent times, I'm not using it well. But I just want to see, 1 year back, what I have ordered in my Amazon, through my Amazon. Then I can see, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So how are we able to see that? Because every time when we order something, the data will go to the database, and it will store it. And whenever you want it, you can see that. So that's the beauty of storing the data and utilizing the data whenever we need it. So that's the main importance of, in a general times, if I have to talk, that's the main importance of having the database. So let me share. Did you install MySQL, guys? MySQL Workbench in your system?
No.
No? No, right? Okay, fine, no problem. We'll do that. So if you have any, if any one of you have shared already logged in with your laptop, you can share your screen. I can help you quickly. It won't take 5 minutes also. Max 5 minutes it will take. If any one of you have logged in with your system, please share your screen. In case if not, I'll just share the PDF file. You can follow the steps. What do you prefer?
PDF.
PDF?
Yes.
Your wish. Okay, let me share that PDF. Okay, let me share after the class, no problem. I'll find it in a place and I'll share it, no issues. Okay, let's discuss about it. So I'm sharing my screen. Let me know if you're once you're able to see. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So let me quickly, you might have seen this diagram from me a couple of times, but that diagram is very, very useful, and that diagram flow should be kind of in your mind for always, in your mind always as a developer. So which is the three-layer architecture of any web application. So let me database. So when you take any application, there will be three layers, right? We have discussed this. I think I might have shown you 2-3 times. I'm sure about it. There will be three major layers. Yeah. So this is front end, or we call it as UI. UI is nothing but user interface. So which the things that can be seen by a user, front end. So this will be developed by using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or Angular. If you want to take advanced frameworks, Angular or React. So these are the frameworks that can be used, and using which we can develop a front end. That is one layer. When it comes to next layer, which is a backend. So backend, or you can say API layer, service layer, we can say service API layer. So this APIs and this backend system can be developed using a .NET or Python or Java, or so this any of the any of the programming languages using which we can develop backend or API layer. The final layer is this one is a persistence layer. Persistence is nothing but storage. Okay, persistence layer, which is nothing but a database. Okay. So now, what are the databases that comes into picture that we know fairly? Some of the databases that we want to list out here in case: MySQL, Oracle, Postgres, and MongoDB, Elasticsearch. If you count, there will be more than 20, even more than that. There are plenty of the databases available in the market. No, search, etc. I'm just writing. I don't want to write all of things. We are going to discuss about MySQL now. So MySQL, Oracle, and Postgres, all these are similar. Most probably those things are almost similar. The syntaxes and the way of writing the queries and everything will be almost similar. We'll discuss about that. I don't want to get into that subject now. Let me give you some high level understanding of the databases. Then we'll go for the syntaxes and queries part. Okay. Now, so why I'm writing this diagram is when till now we have been concentrating whatever you have learned till now. That will be useful for for focusing on this particular layer. Okay, we have been working on this layer only. we are taking if you want the data, you might be taking a data from a console input. You might be taking a data from files, or you might be taking a data from local variables. You have been doing that and writing a lot of examples using Python, but that's not done yet, right? So when you're developing a web application or any standalone application, you should 99% of the cases you should deal with a database. You should connect to the databases. If it is a web application, if it is a standalone application, when I say standalone, we don't need a server. We don't need an internet to run the application. Standalone is nothing but you're writing every day you're writing a Python file, Python program, right? So you're running the Python program using internet, or you're using a simple command prompt. You open a command prompt and using a command, Python space file name. So that is what you're doing, right? So if you're running any kind of applications like that, that will be called as a standalone applications. Whatever you have done till now, those are a standalone applications only we can call. When it comes to a web application or application that is running on the internet or that is running on the server, we call them as a web applications. So that web application, 90%, 99.9% of the cases, every time your Python code will connect to the database and talk to the database and get the data and all these operations it will do. Okay, no issues. We will discuss that. That's something interesting. That's something very interesting. And we will try to do how can we do that. We'll see how to do that. But okay, next. What is the MySQL databases comes under? Like it is comes under, I said two things, right? One is NoSQL database and one more is SQL databases. What is the meaning of SQL? What is the definition or acronym for SQL is structured query language. Okay. So NoSQL, you know what is there is no structure for it. Actually, there is no defined structure for it. All the databases that comes under SQL will maintain some structure. And what is the structure? I'll tell you. I'll talk about it. And the remaining databases, NoSQL databases, all does not have a structure, but it will maintain the different. It will store the data in a different form. That can be a JSON form, or that can be documents and all. I'll talk about that. But we will concentrate on SQL database only. That's a structured query language. So when I say structured, what does it mean? So okay, let me ask you something. I want to store your information into a files. Let's understand. I don't have any knowledge of the database. I want to store the data in a files. So how do you store your information, guys? I want your first name, last name, email ID, mobile number, and all the stuff. How do you store your information? And where do you store your information? Or how did we store your information earlier? Come on.
By writing somewhere in the books or.
So we have used worksheets, right? Which are Excel sheets. You all remember? Did we use Excel sheets or not to store your information? So this is how we have organized your data. Okay, can you all see my Excel sheet?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the way I have stored all your information. So there's a first name, last name, experience, and all your information I've stored like this earlier. But this will, if I delete it from here, it will delete, and if I miss some data, we don't maintain a history, nothing will be there, and it is not a permanent storage. And if I want to store a lakhs of records here, how many records are there? When I say records, one person details. So there are 13, 14 records are there. We want to store lakh of records, and it will become a very useful for the file. And if I want to open a file and all, it will stop responding to me. It will not load. It will take a lot of time to load and all the stuff. There are a lot of disadvantages using a flat files. We call it as a flat files. Using a files to store our information. But if you want to store this kind of a similar information, we can go for the database. Before that, what do I mean by structured data? So when you say structured data, structured query language, when you say structured data, it maintains the data in a tabular form. Do we call this as a table or not? What is the definition of a table? A table is a combination of rows and columns. This is a row and this is a column. There are multiple columns like this, and there are 14 rows and multiple columns. What I meant to say is, if a data is organized, in a table form, and we call it as structured data. So table, nothing but table is a combination of rows and columns. You all know what are rows and columns. I'm sure about it, right? So this vertical thing is, we call it as a column, and this horizontal ones we call it as a rows. So every row is nothing but a information of a particular person. Okay. So that's how the SQL data will be organized. So what are the reasons for going for the database when we have when we have when we have Excel sheet to store the data? There are there are a hell lot of reasons. The main reasons are, one is for security. So now I am creating a Excel sheet in my local system, and if I want to open it, and if I want to delete something, and I can do that. There may be a chance of deleting the file also, and I cannot roll back that file. One thing, and there are some files we can do the password protection also. That in a way, if you want to provide some security to our data, you can provide the security to our you can provide the password to your files. That can be done. I don't know how many of you observed it. If you open your bank statements in any bank, if you want to download a bank statement in internet banking, so then it will provide you the password protected PDF file. It will not simply directly open it, right? I don't know how many of you tried it. In case if you have not tried it, you can see that. If you download a bank statement, that will comes with a password protection. If you enter your password, then only it will open. Then the PDF will open. So how many of you have seen that? Okay. So anyways, I believe that definitely one of you might have seen that. So if you want to open your PDF file, you need to enter your password, some password. But there are a lot of ways to remove that password without even knowing the password. Actually, there are a lot of ways or a lot of tools in internet that using which we can delete the password, and we can open any information and we can see the information. So that's not a high level of security. That's not a better security issue, and that is one main reason where we need to go for. Why do we need to go for the database? And one more reason is, when I say performance, like I want to store a lot of data. Let me note down the points. Limitations of files. Limitations of files. One is security. Security is very, very important, right? When you for our data, security is very, very important. So your data is taken by everybody of our data. Every one of our data is having with some other system, like in Amazon, having a millions of users data is available with them. Providing the security for those data is very, very crucial part for them. Otherwise, they will lose $1 billion of amount. The customer has a right to file a case against them if their data loses. This is not a small thing. It's like when we say simply writing a security here, it's not a small thing. There is a lot of risk behind it. Okay, security, it is very, very important. Next thing is performance. So if you want to store the lot of data, what do you mean by performance? If you want to store millions of record in a flat file, the file will not even respond sometime. File will not be able to open. It's very hard. It will take it will take a lot of time to open. If you want to enter one record, it will be very hard. That's one reason. That's the one drawback of having a files. And one more thing is managing the files. Sorry, managing the data in files is also very tough. What do I mean by managing the data? Let me tell you what do you mean by managing the data. Managing or filtering, you can say filtering or anything. That's why I gave a generic name, filtering. So managing the data or filtering the data is very tough because so I have 10 records. So here I have 10 records. I want to filter only the records, only the people whose first name is Sai. So I need to go to here and I need to go and select had a filter and I can select it. So I can go on here. I can find it Sai and I can provide it. So I can, if I filter only Sai, Sriram, Kamal, record I can see. Remaining all records I cannot see it. So not only this, I want to do a lot of operations. For example, I want a first name whose name contains A. So if you see A contains many people's names, A will be there. Or for example, I want names whose name contains B. I'm saying particularly contains. I'm not saying it should start with A, it should start with A some level. Contains. Not just this, there are a lot of operations if you want to perform. There are some operations here, but the thing is you need to do it manually and you need to do the data manually, filter it and just look at the data. But there is no proper language to do that. Okay, there is no proper language to do this usually. But when it comes to SQL, there is no language to maintain to perform operations on files. So when I say language, so I want to programmatically read all the data. I want to programmatically filter some data. I want to add one record, new record. There is no particular language, but when it comes to database, we have a SQL. That is why we are going to learn SQL. There is SQL which is called structured query language, which is a separate language using which we'll communicate with the database. Okay, SQL is not database, guys. I'm repeating again. SQL is not database. SQL is a language to connect to the database and do some operations on top of the database. Database is separate system. It is a server or it is a separate instance where we can store the data. But SQL is some language using which we can operate the data, we can add the data, we can delete the data, and we can update the data, do all kind of operations. We are going to learn SQL as a language. Okay. Now, yeah, so those are, I think, those are one of the main things that I want to, add a point here. When we compare with the files. Okay, so let's go to the database. So we are going to learn MySQL. So don't stretch much. Whatever we are going to cover, those topics are more than enough. As a developer, those topics are more than enough. Trust me, there are some engineers who are working on Python, but they don't know the basics of MySQL also, or the basics of any database also. Okay, the reason being they might be working on only standalone code, like writing a data to the files and reading the data to the files and working with some data, which is some input data, taking console data and all. They might not get a chance to work with the database. And even if they work with the database, there might be a separate database developers in their company or in their team. Even the people who are working with the database, they may also don't know, working with the database, when I say the people, the Python developers, who are dealing with the database, even they don't know the knowledge of database, but they are still using it. You may surprise that how they are using it. There will be a separate database developer who will help them writing queries and writing all this stuff. They will help them. That's why the Python people sometimes or data developers sometimes don't worry about it. But as a developer, it is very important to learn at least the basics of any database, any one database. That is highly recommended. I don't want to, do not ignore it. It is very important and very easy also. You will definitely love it. When it compares to Python, SQL is very easy. You will definitely love it. But the practice is very important. Okay. Now let's discuss about MySQL. So here in this bridge, to connect between Python and MySQL database or any database, in between the SQL comes into picture. So here we need to add a SQL. So using this SQL, we can connect Python to MySQL. We can connect Python to Oracle. We can connect Python to Postgres. So using this SQL queries, we can do that. So what are those queries and what are the types of queries? How many types are there? And how are we creating it? How to create a database in the very first place? We'll see all of them. So there are actually 4 types of queries. What are those is segregated as a 4 types, which are DML, DQL, DDL, okay, TCL. So there are 4 types of categories which are divided. We have divided all the MySQL queries. In the entire MySQL, all the queries only will be there, guys. I'll tell you what are those queries and all. And as I said, we call this MySQL, Oracle, and Postgres. We call them as RDBMS databases. What is the meaning of RDBMS? Is relational database management system. When I say relational, a relation is also comes under like a tabular format, like we discussed a structural thing, right? Structural things is nothing but a table, is a relational. So if you want to maintain some relation between 2 tables, so there may be a chance of maintaining a relation between 2 tables. 2 tables means when I say 2 Excel sheets, guys. So here one Excel sheet is for maintaining a student's information. So okay, let us take a simple general example of this Amazon or Flipkart. There is a 2 type of information we need to store. What is this? One is the customer's information. One more is orders information. Yes or no? I want to store orders and I want to store customers also. Do we store all of them in a single table? No. We store all of them in different tables. One table for customers and one table for orders. Inside the customer information, we store all this information like first name, last name, email ID, username, password, all this information we store in the customer table. But when it comes to orders table will contain order ID, transaction ID. What is order item? Order item means iPhone. If I order iPhone is the order item. What is the price of the order? It will be like 90K or 1 lakh. So that will be that kind of information will be stored inside orders table. So for every one customer, there will be multiple orders, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So then, what is the relation between those 2 tables? Let me try a simple diagram here. Second. So these are the 2 tables. Yeah. This thing. So this is the customer table. This is orders table. Okay. Next. So I'm writing some columns here. I'm writing only 2 columns for better easy understanding. Or I'll add one more. Not an issue. I'll add one more. Okay, fine. Okay, so this is the customer table, and this is one other one is a orders table. So what does the customer table will contain? Whenever the customer is registered to our application, there will be customer ID. 1 second, let me decrease the size. ID. Oh, this is too short. Just a second, guys. So the customer ID, name, mail ID, username, and password. Those things I'm not going to store it here, but you can imagine that. Email ID, I'm just for example. There are two customers. Let me understand. Just understand very carefully, guys. A very simple thing, but a bit important. Naga test at Gmail. Okay. Kasi 12. Test 2 at test 2 at Gmail. Okay, let's imagine that we have the data like this. So now, okay, now the customers are registered. Okay, now I have registered to Amazon account today, and I have not ordered anything. So do I have do I have some orders in this table? Please be with me for 2 minutes, guys. I want you to really understand this relation. Okay, so now Naga and I are registered today to Amazon account, but we have not ordered anything. So in that case, do we expect some data to be there in the orders table?
No.
No. So table structure will be there, but we don't expect the orders to be there, because just because I have registered to the Amazon account, it's not mandatory that I need to order something, right? At least I might order in future. It is not necessary to be there. Okay. So why I'm saying this point is, okay, orders are not meant for particular person. It is not associated with a particular person. So for some people there may be no orders. For some people there may be hundreds of orders. For some people there may be only one order. So what I mean by here is, so these two, but definitely there will be a relation between these two tables. Okay, what are those relation? So order ID, for example, there will be a transaction ID will be generated uniquely, right? Order ID, order item is iPhone. For example, I have ordered something now. Let me order iPhone, for example. Price is, for example, 1.5 lakh. Okay, just imagine, guys. Next, 1, 2, 3, 5. So my order ID, next order, I have ordered, something, after that I have ordered one more thing called jacket. So I've ordered one more jacket, which is cost of 1,500. So let us assume that. So who have ordered this? Actually, I have ordered this, but we don't know how are we maintaining the relation here. How to know? By looking at the orders table, how should I know that Kasi has ordered this or Naga has ordered this? That's where the relation comes into picture. We need to maintain a separate column inside orders table to maintain the relation between the customer and on the order. What is the unique way of identifying the customer? Which is the customer ID. Customer ID will not be different, right? It's like a student ID card. No student will contain two ID card, same ID card names, right? So ID card, sorry, what is the roll number? No two students will contain the same roll number, right? It is a unique number they will give. Similarly, here customer ID also will be unique. So to indicate that this particular item is related to this particular customer, then you need to maintain a customer ID column here. Now, These two things, two orders are created by Kasi. Then you need to maintain Kasi12 as the user ID against him. Then now the relation looks very nice. Now if anyone look at the orders table, they can see that okay, there are two orders. One is to iPhone, one more is jacket. Then who have ordered it? Then they'll simply go to the customer ID and see, okay, hey, Kasi have ordered these two things. That's how they will look at the data, they can understand it. But who is Kasi and who is Kasi12? Then they will go back to the customers table. By taking this customer ID, they'll go to the customers table and see all complete information of this customer. Kasi, okay, test2@gmail.com, so and so village and so and so address. They will simply look at this and understand it. What I mean by what is the relation here? So here we are maintaining a relation between these two tables. The relation name which we say is one-to-many relation. Okay. One-to-many. Why I'm saying one-to-many is for one customer, multiple orders can be there. But for one order, there is no chance of having a multiple customers, right? Very thin line, very important line. Just be with me for a minute. For one customer, there can be multiple orders, but for one order, there cannot be multiple customers. Do you agree with me? Are we on the same page?
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. One-to-many. This one we call it as a one-to-many relationship. Okay. How are we maintaining this relation? We are maintaining this relation using the ID column. Okay. Using ID. The relation will be maintaining using the ID. Okay. Using this relation, we are maintaining a relation between these two tables. So similarly, in future, we might have to create a lot of tables which has some relationship between these two tables. Okay, there are 4 types of relations, guys. We can depends on the situation, we can talk about it. There are 4 types of relation: one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-one, many-to-one, many-to-many. Okay, no issues. We don't need to separately discuss about it. Whenever the situation comes, automatically we'll create a relation like that. So now we have talked about one-to-many. You might have understood by now what is this one-to-many and all this stuff. For one customer, multiple orders. So for for one student, multiple subjects, for example. So similar to that, not a particular case, but there are a lot of cases where we can relate to this. Okay, no issues. So I just wanted to bring that point. Okay, next. Okay, now let's come to the actual situation. I want to create a table, or I just forgot about the table. I want to create some data. I want to store this data in my database. How to do that? Let's achieve that. Let's achieve that today. I want to store this data. I don't want this to be in a files. I want this to be in a database. How do I want to create it? Then we can go for database, MySQL. Let's go to. Before that, let me just keep that in mind. Before that, let me categorize the queries. There are 4 or 5. I'll talk about 4 types of queries. One is DDL, DML, DQL, TCL. Okay, we will talk about this one by one and very important, guys. Okay, DDL. What is the meaning of DDL? Let's categorize everything separately and we'll discuss about it. DDL query. DDL is nothing but data definition language. What type of queries comes under DDL is create, alter, drop, truncate. So these are the 4 queries that comes under DDL. But you might be surprised what are these 4 things, but we'll see that. Okay, and why these things have comes under DDL? Why these 4 only kept under DDL? I'll discuss about that also. Don't worry. But let's talk about create. So what is the use of create? If you want to create anything in the database server, we need to go for a create query. Using the, you can call it as a one kind of a keyword. You can create a keyword like we have in Python. There are multiple keywords, right? You can imagine this is also a keyword. So using this keyword, you can create a database, you can create a table, and you can create any object in the database. When I say object, not only the tables and databases, we can have multiple things. We can create a sequence, we can create views, we can create procedures, we can create functions like we do in Python. All these things we can do, but that is very, very advanced, and that is not comes under SQL, that is comes under a PostgreSQL. We don't need to, we not at all required. If you're interested, you can learn that on your own. But that's not for being a Python developer. We don't need to really concentrate on that and break our heads. Okay, now create. So using create, used to create objects in the database. When I say objects, table, views, index, procedures, functions, etc. Okay, you want to create any object in the database, you need to use a command called or a query called create. Okay, alter, I don't want to talk about it now because that is a little big concept. We'll discuss it later. Now, the very first thing that we need to do is go to our database and create one new database. So this is a MySQL workbench, guys. Let me open it again. Once you install MySQL workbench, you can see something like this and search it and just double click on that. You know, there will be MySQL server will be opened. MySQL workbench will open. Here you can see local instance. Click on that. This is one of the connection, one of the database server. We're connecting to this server. And there are, if you see in the left side panel, there are multiple databases for me because I've been working with multiple databases. But since you are doing it for the first time, you can see only 2-3 databases. One is system database and one more is secular database. There will be 2 or 3 databases that comes by default, even if you don't create it. One is sys and one more is secular. So these databases comes by default, but if you want to, if you're really interested to create a database on your own and you don't want to work on the existing databases. Sorry guys. Can you all hear me? Or is my voice breaking?
No, it's clear.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So now I really don't want to work on some existing database. I want to create my database for my purpose or for my reasons and all. Let's go and create a database. How to create a database? Simple command, create database. Very, very simple. You'll definitely love it, guys. Create database name. So since we are developing a Python community 7, I'm just naming it as Python community 7. You can name anything. But one recommendation is, separate every word with an underscore, but don't contain a spaces. Spaces will not be allowed. Don't give us spaces. Separate any word, 2 words with underscore. That should be enough. That is a naming convention that we follow. Okay. It should not contain the numbers and all. I mean, when I say it should not contain, it doesn't give any error, but we are not supposed to give the numbers. It won't look good. But yeah, here we are learning for the testing. We are doing it for learning purpose. It's okay. Create database name, select it, and click on this icon. Okay. Now, if you see here in the bottom, you can see the red mark. and it is saying that it is, sorry, not red mark, green mark. It means that database is created successfully and your query is successful. Then come here, there is a refresh icon here. If you click on it here, you can see a database called Python Community 7. Okay, let me activate this, set as a default schema. So if you open this database, if you see tables, views, stored procedures, functions, but there are nothing. Simply we are able to see this. There is nothing because our database is completely created new. It is a fresh database. We have not created anything here. But let's create something. But before that, let me show you something which is already created in Python Community 6. If you go under tables, there are multiple tables. Customers department and all these tables are there. Okay, so if there is any table, it will show some expand icon here, and we can see the tables and all. So now there is no table at all. Then we can go and create one table. So what is our purpose now? What is the requirement? I want to create a table something like this, and I want to create a table something like this, and then I want to store the data. Okay, let's do that. How to create it? Now let's just understand what is the requirement. Creating a table. Then which command we need to go? Again, we need to go for the create command only. Because using create command, we can create a table, database, or any objects in the database, we can create using a create command only. But unlike a customer, unlike a database name, but table contains a lot of information, right? If you want to create a table, you need to tell to that syntax that I want these many columns, I want these many. I want this type of data. Data type also we need to mention. How much size also we need to mention. Okay, all this information we need to mention. Let me show you the syntax, then we'll go for implementation. Okay, before that, I just would like to show you a few data types of MySQL, guys. How many data types? What are the data types that are available in Python?
Into float, tuple, set, dictionary, range.
String.
Yeah. String, integer, float, boolean, list, tuple, all this comes under data types. Why do we have the data types? To indicate or to to store the type of data. We have different types of data in real time, and for every type there is a data type. So similarly, in database also, not exactly same as Python, but it's a bit different. Names are different, but the purpose is same, guys. You don't need to worry about much. Okay. I don't want to discuss every data type, but I'll just list some of the important databases that you deal with every day. Okay. Char data type, char of size, varchar database. Varchar is a very very famous, very mostly used data type. Varchar size. Varchar of size. Size means how much length of data you need to specify. It's not like a Python. Okay. For example, first name I want to store. I want to give a column name, and for that column name I'm giving a varchar as the data type. But I need to mention the size also. Size means how many lengths of characters in this. What is the maximum length that should that this particular column should hold. Okay, so Bhavani contains only 4 letters. Sorry, not 4, 7 letters. So if I give varchar of 6, then we will not be able to insert Bhavani's name. Now, similarly, so if you want to create one column, you need to specify the while creating the table, you need to specify what is the data type and what is the size also. You should give some maximum size. Which we think that it will not, it will not be beyond that. Okay, let me, I'll show you, don't worry. Varchar of size, one more is binary. In the bracket size also, always you need to mention the size. Teeny text actually, okay, text of size. there are small differences between all of these things. Blob means binary object. Okay, binary large objects. Binary means if you want to store a file itself, if you want to store a JSON file directly in the database table, then you can go for the blob. If you want to create a dictionary, entire dictionary you want to store in a particular column, you can go for a blob object like that. So those are some of the databases. Okay, actually there are a few more, but those are not at all important. Even these things are actually extra. Varchar is the one that we very regularly use. Okay, so next, what is the char of size? What does the so it will maintain the pixel length. Okay, so size, if you give 20, as I mentioned earlier, it will hold only 20 characters. If you are giving the characters as more than 20, it will fail. It will fail to insert. And one more thing, when you are saying character, so it can hold 0 to 250 to 0 to 255 only. It cannot hold more than that number. But when it comes to varchar of varchar, it can hold 0 to 65535 length. Okay, when I say length, guys, you need to count the characters. Kasi contain 4 characters. So it is in the 4 is between the 0 to 65535, right? So it can hold that. Okay, binary. Binary is a it stores the data in a bytes. Okay, it is actually equals to character data type only. So, but the data is in the data will be in the bytes. If you want to store the data in the bytes, you can go for that. So tiny text. Tiny text is nothing but if you want to store the string type of data. Varchar also, character also for string type of data only. String or alphanumerics and all these things. But tiny text, it holds a text only, but it is a maximum of 255 length. Text also, it contains any kind of text. It can be a bigger string or a smaller string, but this length should be 65535. So we will use 99% of the cases varchar only, guys. You don't need to focus or work on remaining things, because varchar can hold any kind of data. It can be a number, it can be a string, or it can be alphanumeric. Anything it can hold. Blob. So for binary, if you want to store a file itself, not the data, file itself you want to store, you can go for blob object. Binary large objects. So which can that is also can hold up to 65535 size. Okay, so these are some of the databases that we should really just know. Okay, before going to create a table or anything. Okay, let's come to table creation part. I'll tell you why why I need to really create it, because when we are creating it, we definitely need that, right? Okay. So what is the syntax? Create. Syntax to create a table is create table name of inside bracket column name space data type of size. This is for one column. Column 2 space data type of size. This is another column. So comma separated, it keeps on going as many columns as you want. Okay. This is a syntax, very easy syntax. Let's try to convert that syntax in our as per our functionality. Okay, create table. What is the table name? Student info. This is a batch 7 student info, right? Student table name of, what is the syntax? Column name space data type name, comma separated. Column name. Let me comes here. I'm trying to convert this into a database table. That's it. First name, last name. Okay. First name, space, data type we need to give. So what is the best data type here? Varchar. You can hold any number. Sorry, any type of data. You can hold a string on alphanumeric and only numeric values. You can store. Varchar of. So first name, there may be a chance of first name. It may not be beyond 60 characters, right? There is no chance of any first name that doesn't contain more than 60 characters, at least for our understanding. If you give 20, there may be some people whose name can contain 20 characters also. More than 60 may not be there. If it is there, it will fail. First name, last name, space, data type, varchar of size 60. Next, mobile number, varchar. So how much mobile number we need to give? So just because it should not fail, we are not supposed to give any bigger numbers, guys, here. Based on the data, we need to give the numbers. We need to give the size. So for example, if we take mobile number, does mobile number exceeds more than 20 characters in any country? No, right? So if I give a 60 here also, then it doesn't really make sense. The remaining 40 characters is really a waste of storage. So then we can give less than 20. Next, email. Varchar of email. Some people email keep very, very bigger one. So I don't want to break it. I can give 20, 60 here. So this is how you can create a table. So let me run this query. If you run this query, it is a successful. If there is any mistake in the syntax, it will fail. So that's how you need to create a query. Now, if you see in the Python community 7, if you come here in the tables, under the tables, you can see that student info table is created. Under the table, you can see how many columns are there and what are their data types and sizes. Okay, so that's how you can create it. So this is what I say. This is a feature of MySQL Workbench to see the column names and their data types. But actually, if you want to really see the existing table, for example, if there is an existing table, I want to see how many columns are there, what are their data types, and if you want to see all of them, then you can. The syntax is describe table name, DESC table name. Student underscore info. What it will do is it will describe the student information. What are the columns are there? What are their data types and all everything. So if you see here, what is it showing? Field name is first name, last name, mobile number, email ID. What are their types and sizes? Here showing null. Null yes means if I store a null value inside a first name, will it accept or not? So null, key, default, these things we will discuss in the constraints part. At this moment, you can ignore it. Okay. So if you want to see the structure of the table, definition of the table, you can see, you can use this command called describe student info. Even for Oracle, this is same. Even for Postgres also, this is same. Almost all the syntaxes will work in every database, guys. There will be very, very minor changes. Okay, this is how you can create a table. Okay. Now I have a table. Now I want to insert a table, insert a record. Now, so we have a table something like this. I am not using all these details, but yeah, it's okay. I want to store some information inside this. Then we need to go for a record called query called insert. Okay, insert query we need to go. Let me insert query will actually comes under DML query. DDL comes under create, alter, drop, truncate, right? Alter and drop, truncate, I'll discuss it later because in this order we cannot discuss because we need to have some prior knowledge before that. Data need to be there. Hey, yeah. Just 1 second. No issues. I'll write down here, guys. DML. data manipulation language. Okay, so data manipulation language means if there is an object already exists, okay, if the object is already exist, then if I don't want to create, if I want to insert the data, I only need to deal with the data. Then we can go for the DML queries. Dealing with the data means what? Insert data, manipulation, inserting the data into the table, in the existing table, updating the data into the existing table, deleting the data of the existing table. All these are the data manipulation in the existing object. So that's why these operations comes under a DML queries. What are those operations is insert, update, delete. These three things queries comes under a DML queries, data manipulation queries. Okay. Insert. So using insert, we can insert records into the table. Let's discuss all of them. So insert query. So syntax for insert query, guys. There are two syntaxes for insert query. That's something interesting. I'll show you. Syntax 1. Insert into table name of column names. Column 1, comma, column 2, comma, dot, dot, dot. Column names. Values of val1, comma, val2, comma, dot, dot, dot. Okay, this is the syntax. This is the best syntax, though. But okay, how does it take it? The column name value 1 will go to the column 1 and value 2 will go to the column 2. So I'm sure you must be knowing that. You must be understood that by using syntax. Okay, whatever the order that we give, those values will go to the particular column. Now I want to go and insert some data into the student info. Insert into student info of column name, first name, comma. Now we don't need data types, guys. Whenever we are creating a table, then only we need data types and sizes. Whenever we are inserting the data, we don't need it, right? We just need to mention in which column we need to insert the data. That's it. First name, comma, last name, comma, mobile number, comma, email ID. Okay, space, values of. Okay, now first name I want to give my name, for example. Last name I want to give my last name. Mobile number I want to give mine itself. Okay, mail ID. kasi.edumati@gmail.com. Okay, so I'm giving my information here, and that's it. So now, first name will, Kasi will go to the first name column. Edumati will go to the last name column. Mobile number will go to this one. Email ID will go to this one. For suppose, if you give this email ID in place of Kasi, then first name will become a kasi.edumati@gmail.com. I'm sure you must have that clarity. Okay, so now I'm inserting a record. Okay, so if you see in the below, the query is successful and the record must have inserted also. So now if I want to see that how the data is there or not, I'm just going select star from student info. What is this select query? You may not know. This is a very big and important query. I'll take a separate session on this. Session means tomorrow I'll discuss about it. It is a very bigger, very important and very bigger query. But just understand for now, select star from student info will give all the records of the table. Only that particular thing you can remember now, just for our testing. So if you see here in the table, there is only one record available because we just created the table and we just inserted the only one record in the table. Fair enough. Yeah. Now I don't know. So I want to insert one more record. Okay. I want to insert one more record. One more record of, for example, any Vikram. Okay. Let us assume I don't know his mobile number. I don't know his mobile number. I know his mail ID. Maybe. Okay. I'm just giving a test mail ID. Test at Gmail or something. Okay. I'm just giving his mail ID. So in this case, since I don't know the mobile number, do I really need to pass this mobile number here in the query?
No.
Actually not required. Since I don't know the mobile number, then it's better to remove in the syntax itself. And if I am removing the syntax, I need to remove the value here also. Now, if I am going here and inserting the record will be inserted happily. But if I see in the database, if you go here, for Vikram record, the mobile number is inserted as null. So the default value of any column, if you don't specify, if you don't pass any value, the value will become null. Okay, fair enough. So that's the beauty of the first syntax case. If you don't know some columns, some column values, then you can ignore them and you can insert whatever the values that you know. Okay, so there are two cases here we have written, guys. Here in this case, syntax is same. This syntax and this syntax is same. I'm not talking about these two syntaxes. I'm going to tell you one more syntax. I'll tell you that. There is a small difference here. What is the difference is, here I don't know, I don't know one column value. So then I simply remove that column and I inserted the remaining values. Here I know everything. Here I know everything of the table. Then here, what does SQL says is, if you know everything of a table, then you don't need to pass all the column names. That's what it will do. That's the syntax 2. Syntax 2. Let me show you. I'll give you the clarity. Don't worry. Syntax 2. Insert into table name values of directly values. You don't need to specify columns. But there is a drawback for this syntax. Okay. When do we need to go for this syntax is when you really know all the values for all the columns, then only you can go for this syntax. You know. So if you know values for all the columns, you can go for this syntax. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, in the first case, we know all the values, but still we are giving all the column names. It is not required, but there is no harm in doing that. There is no harm in doing that, but it is not required actually. So I'm just giving a CASI 2. Okay. So I'm inserting it. I have inserted without the column names. But one thing that we need to make sure, guys. So sorry, not one thing, 2 points that we need to make sure when we are going for the syntax 2. What are those 2 points? First point is, you should definitely know all the values for all the columns. And one more thing is, you should take care of the order of the values that you are passing. You should take care of the order of the values that you are passing. Just make a note of that. So in place of CASI2, if you pass kasi.edumati@gmail.com, first name, it will, mail ID will go to the first name in place of first name. That will be the problem. But you may ask, now here also we are passing the same order, right? No, it's not mandatory. So if, for example, in place of email ID, if I give the email, and in place of first name, if I give the first name here, and if I exchange the values also here, that will definitely go to the right place. Here we have a facility. We have a facility to send the data in a right way. Are you getting what I'm saying? Trying to say, guys, here? Come on. Are you
Yes.
getting what I'm trying to say?
Yes or no?
Is there any doubt? Okay, fine. So, I would prefer, if you ask me which syntax we should go, I would prefer to go for the first syntax only always. Even if you know all the values also, I would recommend you to go to the first syntax only. Next thing is, I want to insert multiple records at a time. I don't want to use insert into and multiple times. I want to insert all the records at a time. Then you can go for multiple records. If you want to insert, you can go for something like this. Insert into values of, you can give comma separated values, all the values, values of, and then so like this, you can keep on giving the comma separated values. So I'm giving 1, 2, 3, 4 records. 4 records I'm inserting at a time. I'm not using insert into multiple times. In a single query only, I'm giving all the records. If you see here, so 4 times Vikram is inserted. So we have seen now how to create a table and how to insert a table and how to two ways to insert a table. Two ways to insert the records into the table and multiple records at a time if you want to insert into the table, that is also can be done. These are the 3 things that we have discussed now. Okay, there are 5 more minutes left. Okay, I think we can cover the update statement also. Let's discuss about the update statement. Update query. So what is the meaning of update, guys? When do we need to go for update? If there is a record already, and in that record I want to update something, then only we can call that as update, right? Insert means what? Creating the separately brand new record. Update means what? Record is already there. I want to update some column information or multiple columns information at a time inside using a update. That is what that is what the definition of update, right? Update means if the record is already there, I want to update something in on top of it. For example, so I have inserted multiple records here. For Vikram Ediga, there is no mobile number. Okay, at the time of creating his record, I don't know the mobile number. Now he comes back to me and saying that, hey, Kasi, I know my mobile number. I have got a new SIM. Please add my mobile number. Now I cannot do the. I cannot insert it again, right? That will not make any sense. If I insert it again, it will become a duplicate record. Instead, I need to update in the existing record only. To the existing record only, I need to update it. Then I need to go for the mobile number. I need to go for the update query. To update information of existing records. Syntax is update table name. Very, very important. Insert, update, delete, select. These are the 4 4 operations that you regularly do, guys. If your project is working on database, these are the 4 syntaxes you might have to work on regularly. Very, very important. Update table name, set column 1 equal to value 1, comma, column 2 equal to value 2, comma, column 3 equal to value 3, etc. And then where condition. I'll tell you where condition. This is something very new, but where condition is required. Where condition. This is the syntax of update. So where condition, when do we go for where condition? What is the meaning of where condition? So you are updating some values, it is okay. You are telling that which table you want to update and which columns you want to update. You are telling everything. That is okay. But where do you want to update? If you don't say where do you want to update, it will update everywhere in the table. If you don't say where do you want to update, it will update every record of the table. But so in that case, I want to update only Vikram's mobile number. Then I need to specify where wherever Vikram is available. Then you need to specify that condition here. Its condition is almost 90% similar to Python if condition only, guys. It is similar to Python if condition. Okay, all your operators, Python operators will be useful here. Okay. Now let me go here. Update table name, student info set. So which column I want to update? Mobile number. Mobile number equals to, for example, 999999. Mobile number where? Okay, I want to update a mobile number as like this, but where do you want to update? I want to update where where first name is Vikram. Now you need to say where first name equals to Vikram. Okay. So now tell me how many records will impact for this query, guys?
5 records.
5 records will be there because with first name as Vikram, there are 5 records are there, and I really want to update 5 records also. Then what we can go? Let me update this query. The query is successful. Okay, query is successful. Let me see the data is really updated or not. Let's see. How do we see that? Using a SQL query. Okay, somehow it's not updated, guys. Why? We made some mistake. Oh, I see. I got it. The reason being, actually, at the time of inserting a Vikram, if you see, after Vikram, there is a space. Okay, by mistake, we have given that space. That's why Vikram is not matching. Let me give the space also here. We should be careful about it. Okay, now my update query is successful. If you see the update query is saying that 5 rows affected. Okay, it means that 5 records are modified. So now if I go here, so for all wherever the Vikram is there, the mobile number of Vikram is changed. And if you don't specify this where condition, and for every record, mobile number will become 999999999. That's what it will become. Very, very simple and very important query is update and insert and select queries. Okay, that's easy. There are no much syntaxes, guys. Update is very straightforward. Next, delete also. Delete also similar. Delete query also. Let's discuss delete also. You can play a lot of ways, guys. Don't just stick with whatever I'm explaining. You can play with a lot of things. Okay, for your practice, you can play a lot of things. Updating 2 columns, updating 1 column. We have updated only 1 column here, right? You can pass a comma, email ID, you can update, last name you can update. You can play with a lot of things. Okay, delete. So use to delete records from the table. Okay, so syntax is very simple. Delete from table name where condition. Okay, so whichever the records you want to delete, whichever the record is matched to this particular condition, then those records will be deleted. Okay, now let's say I want to delete Kasi2. Okay, I want to delete Kasi2. How to delete that? Delete from which table I want to delete? Student info table. Delete from table where do I want to delete? Where condition is first name equal to Kasi2. So wherever the first name is Kasi2, delete all those records. Okay, now I'm deleting it. Okay, so if I delete 1 row affected, it is saying 1 row affected means 1 row is deleted. So if you see here, there is no Kasi2 here. Kasi is there, Vikram is there, but there is no Kasi. That's how you can delete it. And you can pass the multiple conditions also at a time, guys. When I say multiple conditions, first name equal to Kasi and last name equal to so and so, and first name equal to this and last name equal to that, and all you can pass. And if you want to pass multiple records at a time, for example, delete from student name, student info, where first name equals to Kasi, or is a keyword for or condition, like we have in Python, or first name equals to Vikram. So what I'm saying here, you know, wherever the first name is Kasi or Vikram is there, then you can delete everything. So literally we have only those two names. That's why it will delete everything. See here. If you simply, it's very simple. Let me insert record. Want to go and just a second. You want to go and delete. I want to delete everything in the table. You can delete, simply remove the where condition. Delete from table name. Enter all the records from the table name, it will delete. With insert, update, delete, we'll discuss about select query, which is a very, very big query, and there is a lot of examples tomorrow. And then we'll go for the constraints and then joins, which are very important concepts. And remaining DQL and DDL queries, alter command, there are multiple commands are there. We'll discuss about all of them. Okay, alter, drop, truncate, and TCL, TQL, DQL queries also there. We'll discuss that. Okay. I hope you are good. I hope you understood the concept. Let's discuss tomorrow. For the task for tomorrow is you need to practice all of these things in your own way. Don't just practice whatever I have given in the class and just leave it like that. Enhance to it and think in a different way, and you play with the syntaxes and delete multiple records and update multiple columns and all the things you can try out. And let me know in case if you have any doubts. And tomorrow's task is practice all that, and along with that, to practice, you need the MySQL workbench to be installed. So install MySQL workbench also. That is a task for tomorrow. And one more simple announcement, guys. We are going from lemcode's community. We are going to start a YouTube channel, a new YouTube channel, where we discuss only technical things. When I say technical things, not just the concept. Majorly, we are going to start with the quiz programs. Quiz programs where we conduct some quiz using our technology, not only Python, with all kind of. We are going to come with all kind of subjects. Python, Java, SQL, and even general concepts and current affairs. All these things we are going to come up and create some quizzes. And whoever participates in that quizzes and whoever, it's a kind of a fastest finger first. Whoever finished the exam first and whoever got the highest score will get some prizes and all. So this kind of thing that we're going to plan, and I'm going to share that YouTube channel link also to you. You can subscribe that, you can follow that. You'll keep getting alerts. And why I'm going to do that is, many people have a knowledge, and many people are spending a lot of time in the YouTube, and many people are spending a lot of time in the internet. But we don't get a single rupee from that. We'll keep scrolling scrolling a lot of reels and keep scrolling a lot of stories in the Instagram. We'll keep visiting a lot of videos in the YouTube, but we don't get a single rupee also. Instead, we are losing a lot of time, and we are getting some issues, health issues and all. But since we are in that time, if you can really spend 5 to 10 minutes in the quiz, you can validate your knowledge, and you can get better knowledge, and with your knowledge you can earn some amount. You can earn some amount, you can earn some prizes. Okay, with our knowledge. That's what knowledge is divine is all about. So we can earn something about our using our knowledge. So I'll keep you updated. I'll keep you posted about those channel and those videos that we are going to do. Along with that, I'll keep posting some job sites and everything. We'll use that forum. Yeah. Thanks everyone. Thanks everyone. If you have any doubts, you can stay back and ask. We are already running out of 7 minutes. Let's meet tomorrow. Make sure you install MySQL.
Thank you.
Thanks.